Hello and welcome to Best Friends Forever. I'm your host, Radia Hersey. Ask any woman, who's your Oprah? Who's your Gail? And immediately they know what you're talking about. Their best friend. Today we have two amazing women sharing their story about how their friendship got them through the ups and downs of life. Ladies, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us where you're from.
Hi, my name is Claudette Carrion Wardlaw, and I'm from New York City, Harlem, USA.
Harlem.
My name is Kim Mills, and I am from the Boogie Down Bronx, New Jersey.
Boogie down. Well, ladies, thank you so much for coming on the show. You guys have such an incredible story of friendship. Tell me, how did you guys meet?
In school, in elementary school.
How old were you guys?
I was 8 and Kim was 7.
And then what did you like about each other?
We went to a very small school, and I remember Kim coming in for like the first day of second grade, and she just had this like beautiful smile, and she just seemed really shy, and I just was immediately like drawn to her, and so I was like, I want to be friends with her.
And Claudette was the girl that everyone knew, but was still herself and really sweet. Like, she could jump double dutch. But she could also play tackle football with the guys in the schoolyard. And she was smart. And she was this girl with freckles. And it was just an amazing, just to kind of experience that. So I was like, and I was super shy. And she came up to me and she was like, hi. And I was like, hey.
You shy?
I know, right?
How is that possible? How is that possible?
Painfully shy. Painfully shy when I was small.
Well, you came out of your shell, clearly.
And then some.
Now I understand there was a girl who was giving you a little bit of trouble in school, and
there was a lot of trouble.
Tell me about that.
A lot of trouble. I was bullied, and I know now everyone talks about bullying, but way back when, bullying didn't have the same level in terms of understanding. And I would come home every day in tears. And then she was someone who bullied me, but then also got everyone else involved. So not only was I being bullied by this person, by this one girl, then she would get like a team. And then it was like, okay, well, I don't want her bullying me, so I'm going to also join in. So I got bullied consistently, constantly for how I spoke. I was the Oreo. I was dark skinned. I was chocolate. Well, no, they didn't say chocolate back then, but they said she was black, and I talked funny. I thought I was smart. So how I dressed, I got bullied. And Claudette was the one person who did not join in when other people thought it was fun and to laugh at Kim and to bully Kim. Claudette she was my person.
The same. Kim and I had a connection initially, just being, I think both introverts, but also Kim was very reminiscent of my family members. I was very close to my maternal grandmother, who was also a beautiful chocolate woman. And so that's what I saw in Kim. She just felt like she was family. And so I guess I realized that the bullying was happening and it was like progressive, but it got to a boiling point because I would, encourage her to like, those things are not true. But also, we were 7, we were 8 years old, and the teachers really weren't paying attention. And it didn't matter if I used my words to tell this person to stop, she just continued to do it. And so it got to a boiling point. And one day I just couldn't take it anymore. And so I can be very mild-mannered, but I can channel, my inner spirit. And I literally, got in trouble because I beat the girl up, and I told her to leave Kim alone. And if she ever did it again, I would fight her again. And so, that was like the end of the bullying, I hope. But we never really talked about it. Did it stop after that?
It stopped. It was twofold. It was then, and when I came home and I told my mother, I wish I was your color, that I don't like being dark. At that point, my mother was like, this has to stop, because at first it was like the sticks and stones may break my bones, or I ignore. But I think when my mother saw that I literally hated being dark, that's when my mother was like, I need to come in and have a conversation with the principal because I refuse to have my child feeling like this. And I went to school with it wasn't, but we were in school with Black and Hispanic kids.
Yes.
So it wasn't like we were in a school where you could say that it was someone from another race. It was someone who looked like me. That was, now that I look back as an adult, you realize she had more pressing things that were going on in her life, right?
Yes.
And there were family dynamics there that when you're 7 and 8, you don't understand. But as an adult now, you're like, oh, okay, now I see. And there was a lot of hatred. And it was like, okay, who can I put that out on?
And I've always been protective of Kim in that way.
Yeah.
And so I'll fight anybody for her.
Yeah.
So it almost sounds like what you're saying is violence is the answer sometimes.
When it comes to my friend, yes.
And I feel the same. When it comes to my family, I'll be like, I was like, do I need to put some sneakers on?
Oh my goodness.
Because I will. Don't let the corporate fool you.
Well, I'm glad that you had some sort of like a resolution after that. So then once you guys went to school throughout elementary and then what, middle school?
Yes, we went from second grade all the way to the end of ninth grade together in school. So all of elementary school, all of middle school, and then first year of high school.
Yeah.
And then Kim transferred to another high school in New York.
Which was devastating.
Yes.
It was devastating. I was like, what do you mean I have to go to another high school? Like, we're not going to be together. Like, how is this going to happen? Like, this is my person I see every day. Like, I see her every day. And then we would like sneak and talk on the phone.
Yes.
Like, even when I was on punishment, I was like, I would tell Claudette, I was like, okay, if you call, my mom's going to let me talk to you. And then my mother would be like, Claudette, Kim can't talk on the phone.
I remember that. Yes. Yes.
So it was a huge change for both of us. It was like, you go from, this is your person that you see every day in school. They know all the players. They know who you're talking about. And we have all the same teachers. And we still developed outside friendships of each other, but everyone knew that we were a core friend.
Yes.
And then now I'm in 10th grade and we're not together. So it was like,
and what was that separation like?
It was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard, but I knew that I would still see her regularly. Yeah. So it was like, okay, she goes to another school, but that's still my best friend. And even when other people came into my life and tried to like take that spot, it was still reserved for Kim. Like, and everyone knew that, she was my person. And so even though we weren't together physically in high school, we still like had the weekends and we had family parties and holiday parties and summers. So we were always together.
We definitely were.
Yeah.
So was there a specific time, if you can think back, when did you all like know, okay, this is my best friend?
So I'm gonna tell a very funny story.
I'm intrigued.
Hold on, a few different ways. And that's when I realized that our mothers were the same in certain ways in terms of how they raised us. I remember I wasn't allowed to go to many people's houses to stay over. So I was allowed my grandmother's house, my god sister's house, and Claudette's house.
Same.
And it's funny because the very first time I went to Claudette's house, and Claudette being a school friend who then transitioned outside of a family member friend, my mother sent me over to Claudette's house with a washcloth and a towel.
Because that's very Black, by the way.
And I remember the first time Claudette came to our house, she had the same thing.
It was destiny.
Where it was like, yeah, we have the same people.
We're sisters.
We're sisters for real.
Right. Yeah. So when you guys started high school, where did you go to high school? And then where were you guys living at the time? Were you still in Harlem and were you still in the Bronx?
So we went to A. Philip Randolph Campus High School, which was on the campus of City College.
Yes.
So we went there freshman year, and Kim was not doing what she needed to do at campus. And my mother,
What does that mean exactly?
that means that Kim was adjusting, but I wasn't getting the grades I needed to get.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother was in education. She was a high school guidance counselor who, by the way, worked across the street, but that's a whole other. And when I remember my first like marking period, and I was like, I cannot show my mama these grades. I think like I had like a 75, a 78, like these were very low grades for me. And I remember Claudia saying, she's like, your mama going to whoop your behind. And I remember because I was supposed to originally go to Brooklyn Tech, which is where I transferred to, I was like, I'm going to tell her they don't have my transcript yet, that everything is going to Tech. And Claire was like, I don't know. And I did. And when the second marking period came, and at that point, the grades had not improved. And my mother was like, Kim, where are your grades? You know, I know grades come out around now. And I was like, I don't know. They still... And she was like, okay. And my mother was the queen of a sneak attack. And so I go across the street to her school, and some of her students were like, hey, Kim, how's classes going? And I was like, they could be better. And they're like, we know, because you got a this in this class, this in this class, this in this. For God,
Oh.
yes. And I was like, and then I looked over and I was like, oh. And I saw my mother. She was like, her foot was tapping. And to know my mother, when her foot tapped, you were in beyond trouble. You were going to probably change your life trouble. And she just looked at me and I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to die tonight.
She was like, Molly, you in danger, girl.
That part. And so at that point, my mother was like, you're not staying at campus. You're moving. She was like, you're going to go to Tech. And it's Brooklyn Technical High School, which is one of the specialized high schools in New York. And you have to take an exam. I took the exam the first time, got in. The second time, I purposely tried to fail. And I missed it by like 2 or 3 points. It was like something minimal. And my mother was like, you will be going to summer school. And so she made me go to summer school. Yeah. And so the summer before I went to Tech, and she was like, and do not mess around. And I knew she was serious. So at that point, that's how life had changed.
So you're going to school over in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You're in
Harlem.
She's in Harlem.
Well, that's not, I mean, the subway ride is like still not the best. It's like at least an hour.
It's about an hour
train.
subway ride.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember going to Brooklyn was a big thing. Cause like, if you're in the Bronx, it's like Bronx, Harlem,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're in the Bronx, you really don't go to Brooklyn.
Right.
Like Brooklyn is like a whole different world.
Mm-hmm.
And so to now, there was also for me fear for that, because I'm like, I'm going to Brooklyn? Like, this is a whole different world.
And for our friendship, you know, because we were in the same high school and we had a little bit more autonomy because we were older, Kim could always come to my house after school.
Right.
But now she was going to school in Brooklyn, so we couldn't hang out after school and do the things that we would normally have done if she, you know, stayed at campus. But it worked out.
It worked out. It worked out well. It worked out well.
So what were the nights like when you guys would just go over to each other's houses? Was it just like, what did you love most about going to each other's homes?
So for me, it was a few different things. So Claudette's mom is an amazing cook. Like, she can burn in the kitchen. Burn in the kitchen. And so there were like, it was different layers, right? So it was on the weekends, it would be Claudette's mom cooking. And then on Saturday morning, I would wake up to the smell of bleach. Because her mother cleans like no other. And her mother would be like, get up. You don't, it was just as at my house, you don't sleep in late. You did not sleep in late at Isabel's house. So I would wake up to the smell of bleach because Isabel would be cleaning. She had already been cleaning. She had already done laundry. She was cleaning. And then by the time she might have been changing curtains, because she changed curtains on a regular basis. I was learning a different way, right? And it's those things that I still do now that I learned at her mom's house, you know?
And for me to go to spend the weekend at Kim's house, one, she had her own room. And so like I grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment. And so I always shared a room with someone. And Kim had her own room and she kind of had her own bathroom too. You had your own wing of the house. Essentially.
Bougie.
And so, I would go over to her house and we could have dance parties in the room and listen to music and not really be bothered by, people. But, just to have her mom and her dad be in the house together for me was an experience because I was raised by a single mom. Mm-hmm. And just my mom and Kim's mom, Miss Gloria, were eerily similar in their strength and like the humility and just the knowledge of like themselves and the world. But to have the influence of her dad and my fond memories of him like making breakfast in the morning on Saturday morning, I'd wake up and instead of hearing the Metro North driving past my house in Harlem, I heard the trash trucks coming to pick up the trash. And so that still like resonates with me. And I can still see her dad in the kitchen in his sweats and his robe making breakfast. And so I knew growing into a woman, I wanted that in a husband. And I found that. So, yeah.
Awesome. And I'm curious, who got into the most trouble between you two?
We didn't really we were both very risk aversive.
Yes.
Like, no, for real. Because both of us, our moms did not play games.
Yes.
And we were not, and even if we did get in trouble, not only would I get in trouble with my mother, I would get in trouble with Claudette's mother too.
Yes.
Growing up. I can remember in junior high school, we had, and this is really funny now that I think about it, I had, for whatever reason, my mom did not call Claudette's mom in the morning and say to her, hey, can Kim come over? Because she had to work late. And so we had another friend in junior high school and her name was Monica. And I remember Monica was like, well, you can come to my house. And so, because I was like, hey, Claudette, I'm coming to your house. And Claudette was like, no, you can't. Because my mother said nobody can come to the house because she's not home. And I was like, but my mom said I got to go to your house. And she was like, well, you can't come over. And
because I'm going to get in trouble.
Because I'm going to get in trouble. So I said, okay, I'll go to Monica's house. I remember, and this is payphone time, I remember calling my mom and saying, hey, I'm at Monica's house. And my mother was like, who is Monica? I told you to go to Claudette's house. And I said, well, Claudette said I couldn't go to her house because you hadn't called Isabel. You hadn't called Liz. And so Claudette's mom's name is Isabel, but her family nickname is Liz.
Yes.
And so she was like, you didn't call Liz. And so we both got in trouble. I got in trouble because I went to Monica's house because my mother was like, I don't know Monica. I don't know her people. I don't know her family. Claudette got in trouble because
I denied her and also embarrassed my mother for not accepting Kim to come over because it was like an unspoken rule that Kim could come over, but I was still like following the rules.
And then my mother said to Isabel, no, she did what was supposed to. She did what was right. You told her that she couldn't come over and that no one could come over. So she fought. So you can't get mad at her. So we knew we were not trying to get in trouble with our mamas.
And also, like Kim said, if she got in trouble, I definitely got in trouble because when you moved to a new high school, I got in trouble that summer too. My mom was like, generally my mom never really like asked about my grades and stuff. And I always had really good grades. But I remember that summer she checked. She was like, are you going to 10th grade? Do I have to go to school? Is there a problem? Because, you and Kim, you two are tied at the hip. And I know that if she's not doing something, then I know you're not doing it too. And I was like, no, my grades are okay.
Right.
I got this, Mom. I got it.
Kim was the only shaky one.
I was the only shaky one. I was the shaky one.
But I was under the hot lights for a minute too.
Yes.
So I understand there is your grandmother was a seamstress.
Yes.
And there is a prom dress.
Yes.
Out here, somewhere out here. Yes. Tell me, how did this happen that your grandmother made her prom dress?
Well, prior to the prom dress, my grandmother had sewn a few dresses for Miss Gloria, Kim's mom, for like special events, and then for your brother's first wedding.
Yeah.
And she made a dress for Kim for that wedding and for myself. And then prom time came, and so she was making my dress. And because Miss Gloria knew my grandmother could do it, she asked her to do Kim's dress also.
And so Claudette had already chosen her color, and I was like, "Ooh, that's hot. I want that too." So Claudette had chosen cream,
Yeah.
and so Claudette's mom and my mom went down to the garment district in New York, and they chose all our materials. So we did not know
Yes.
what our I did
You
not
didn't know what it was going to look
I
like?
didn't know what it was going to look like.
No.
But the only direction I gave my mom was I want cream. And so Claudette's mom and my mom went to the garment district in New York, and the two of them went and got material for these dresses.
And I think we have a picture of the dress.
Oh my
Oh, wait.
God. Yes, yes.
Wait a minute. This split is a little high. You're throwing all your thigh meat and
I was
everything.
trying to show a little leg and take it back.
Okay.
And I almost got into trouble because you see the red nails, right? You see the red
yes.
nails. I had my mom's hands, and I remember I begged and begged to get my nails done, and she was like, "You can get your nails done, but only if they're short."
Oh, those are not short.
Those aren't short, but it is a prom, so you know.
I'm starting to see a trend here. She's that I didn't see before. She's a rule breaker.
Yes, you are.
On the sly.
And then the split. I remember my grandmother
I remember
doing
that.
the alterations like prior to the actual prom. And Kim kept asking if the split could be higher. And my grandmother would just say, "No, Kimmy, no, Kimmy, it's fine. It's fine where it is." And I remember she was not happy about the height of that.
Did you get to the prom and kind of open it a little bit
No,
more?
but what I did was when I took the picture, I was like, I can actually kind of like smooth this up a bit. I can scooch it up a bit. Because remember, I went to high school in Brooklyn. So
Right.
I went to high school with a lot of Caribbean, colorful, like prom was over the top. And so, I was, before demure was a word, I was demure, right?
Honey, all you're missing is a prayer cloth. Okay? Cover up that thigh. That's what you're missing, honey. You cannot wear that to church, honey.
I did not wear it to church. I couldn't wear it to church.
Put the white pantyhose and the white shoes.
Yes.
Because my mom was like, we want to coordinate.
Yes.
Coordinate. Okay.
Yes, this is definitely giving 90s. Okay?
It's giving 90.
We are aging ourselves.
We are aging ourselves
This
with that.
is definitely giving 90s. But girl, you were cute, girl.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. With my blush, with my lipstick for blush, because there was no beat. There was no beat to be had. Because my mom also did not wear a lot of makeup. So my mother was someone who she wore liquid eyeliner every day, and that was it. And so when prom came, I was like, "Can I wear?" She was like, "Hold on." She was like, "Here's some lipstick," and then she put the lipstick on my cheeks and rubbed it in, and that was my makeup for prom.
That was your beat.
That was my beat.
That was your mama's beat.
That was my mama's beat. And okay, I literally remember that. I was like, okay, she gonna do it.
So after high school, you guys go off to college. Did you guys go to the same college?
We did not.
No, we did
So
not.
separated again.
Yes.
Separate again.
Where did you guys go?
I graduated from Vanderbilt in Nashville, Tennessee.
And I graduated from Temple University in Philadelphia.
So you guys had to deal with another separation.
We
Yes.
did.
And again, this was in the 90s. So there wasn't any Facebook. There wasn't Instagram. There wasn't email.
No.
So how did you guys stay in touch?
We wrote letters to each other.
To all the kids watching, these are letters. I don't even know if the kids know how to address letters now.
I think they do. I don't think they do. But we wrote letters to each other. And remember, this is the 90s. We can't, to call each other is expensive. And we're college students and we don't have cell phones. We don't have beepers because that's an additional bill that you don't have. And we both were away for college. And so we wrote letters to each other.
Yeah.
But tell me about these letters because I'm nosy.
Oh, goodness.
Tell me about these letters.
So I actually have, what I did was I took the very first letter you wrote me
Oh, gosh.
and then I wrote our follow-up letter.
Oh.
But first, let's talk about the decoration because Claudette, you're an artiste.
I am an artist.
She is.
I am an artist. I do lots of different styles of art, but I was very excited to be writing letters to Kim, and so I would decorate all of the envelopes.
Yes.
And it just dawned on me when she showed me a photo of these letters recently that it's something that I started with her that I now do with my daughters and had done with them when they were small for their birthday cards. I would decorate balloons and hearts. And I started that with Kim.
Yes.
I love that. So you're keeping the tradition.
The tradition. And
Yeah.
so that is the queen of a beautiful card,
Oh,
right? So when you least expect it, we might have conversations where I'm like, I'm at the end of my rope. And next thing I know, I have a card that comes in the mail. And the funny thing about that is because she knows I don't check my mail. So
Been there for 3 weeks.
right. And so, and we talk pretty much every day.
yes.
And so she'll usually be like,
Sometimes 5 times a day.
sometimes 5 times a day, right? And you know how we joke now about how you talk about with people on multiple forms of social media?
Yes.
We will send a text to each other, but then we'll send an Instagram message with a meme. But then on the other hand, or it might be something on TikTok. So and then we'll talk like in real life.
Yeah.
So we'll have all these different forms of communication going on throughout the day.
Yes.
But what she would do is she would send me a card and the card might be, hey, I know this is a time in your life that's not the most, you're going through it. And she was like, check your mail. And I'm like, oh, really? And she was like, Kim, check your mail. And I was like, oh, okay, let me go check my mail. And I was like, there's a card from you. She was like, I know.
It's been there for 8 days.
Right. So literally. And then I'll check the card and it's like what I needed. It's what I needed at that exact moment. So thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, like
Hello.
she knows I'm not a post office person. So when I mail, it's like I went to the post office. I actually mailed a card.
Yes.
So it started in college. It started at our freshman year with these letters.
So are you going to give us a sneak peek?
Okay.
I want.
Go ahead. Let me see.
Wait, hold on.
I want to see.
And she has gorgeous handwriting,
I
right?
want to see if I got better as a writer over time.
Hold on. I'm gonna say August 26th. Should I say the year?
Say the
Yes,
year.
every year.
August 26th, 1994.
Oh, so we had just gotten to
Wow.
campus.
We just had gotten to campus.
Okay.
Wow.
It said, "What's up, girl? How is Tennessee treating you? Did I spell that right? How is the area around you, the men's, the food, and the social network? Hopefully everything I mentioned is cool, but I know it doesn't compare to New York City. Right now, I'm anxiously waiting my departure on Monday, August 29th. I'm excited and nervous all at once. I'm all packed and ready to go. I know my mom is afraid of letting me leave the nest. So how's my boyfriend at the time, my high school boyfriend? Did he write you yet? I know he misses you like crazy and that's sickening. Just kidding. But seriously, I guess he will see you for Thanksgiving or Christmas. Did you get a chance to see him before you left? I know it was hard to leave him behind. Did you meet my friend? If you did, tell him says hi. Also, see if he's messing with any girls around there because I know someone he's supposed to be true to back in Ithaca. But more importantly, stay away from him and most of his friends. Right now, I'm writing you as I am listening to the radio at work. I really miss you, especially since I won't see you for a while. When you come home, you have to see my photo album, all the pictures of us and how we've changed over the years. It's really hilarious. Then I have one page dedicated to me and you. Pictures of us back in 5th grade. And on that page, remember back when you had braces and braids. It's sad when I think of us not being in school together anymore. But I won't think about that now. I'm enclosing my address to school. So write me sometime next week. Keep in touch and peace. Love, Claudette. And she also has her address. So that was the very first letter that I actually received when I went to school.
Is it ringing any bells for you? Yeah.
So some names have been protected.
Yes.
The guilty.
The guilties.
Yes.
The guilty.
The guilty
I
man.
remember writing that letter because all of my friends that were going away had already gone and Kim was like the last one to leave and I was still waiting to leave to go to school and I was like, she's going to get this letter. By the time she gets this letter, I'll be at school and maybe she'll have written me a letter.
Hey, perfect segue.
Yes.
September 12th, 1994.
Oh my goodness.
Dear Kim, what's up? How you doing? I was so glad to receive your letter. It really made my day since it's been hard adjusting to college life. To top that all off, things between me and aren't the best, but I'll talk about that later. That was her high school boyfriend. I'm glad to hear that you are adjusting to Tennessee. I know it must be difficult, but you're strong. Temple's cool, but life here is very slow. So as I lay here writing, I'm recovering from an asthma attack. So I had one last night because of changing weather, and I had to be rushed to the emergency by the police at around 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm all right now, but I was doing bad yesterday. Don't worry, I'm taking care of myself. Guess what? I met your friend. I met your friend, and boy, does he think he is God's gift to the world. And you're right, he did try to talk to me. It's funny because we were playing pool, and he was scoping me hard. He was talking to some of my friends, and so he was like, as soon as he said, hi, my name is, I just froze. Because then I said, you must know my best friend. And then her name is Kim Mills, and I'm Claudette, and you went to Brooklyn, right? His eyes almost popped out of his head, and he said under his breath, oh. I started laughing and walked away, and after that, he just kept on staring at me. Ever since then, he stays away from me, but every once in a while, I catch him scoping me. He tries to talk to everyone, and it's really funny to see him squirm because I guess he knows I know all about him. You have to come and visit. Anyway, my mom misses me so much. She doesn't know what to do, but I'm really not too homesick, but I do miss the convenience of the city. Philadelphia is cool in terms of fashion, and especially the men's. Girl, the men's.
Girl, the men's.
The men's. And I'm going to skip over a few things.
Thank you in advance.
Because it's a little too personal. However, I just figure that either way, that this is a time for us where we might really need space. And I know that the reactions are based on that. I don't know if I continue with this, but give me some advice, girl. And don't take too long to write back. Keep in touch. Peace, love always, Claudette. P.S., because you know me so well, don't procrastinate, Kim. Remember to do your work and write me best friends forever.
I love it.
It's interesting to see how true that letter is to this day with procrastination.
Yes.
and tardiness.
Some things never change, but we love you.
Oh my God.
Progress. But I knew you already know.
Yeah.
You already know reading that letter.
Yes.
You know which part's I.
Yes, I do. Thank you in advance for skipping over them.
But I thought it was funny to see the first letter and the second letter where it was like, hey.
Wow.
So did either of you get to Tennessee or to Philadelphia to visit while you guys were in college?
I did. I came because I remember your first apartment.
Yes.
And I was like, this is not.
It was nice, but we had no furniture because we were broke. We just could afford the apartment, not the
furniture.
Yes.
But I remember, but it was still like, it was an apartment though. Like you had an actual apartment. I was like, this is nice. She is doing it. Like wow, she's so grown.
And unfortunately, I never made it to Tennessee. Right.
So if you all had to describe each other's superpower, what would it be?
Kim's superpower is the love that she exudes, the energy that comes from her. When she walks in the room, people are immediately like drawn to her energy, but also her smile. And she's just love. Like she makes you feel good. If you're feeling down, she can make you laugh. She has this ability just to change your entire like trajectory of your day. If you're having a bad day, if you're having a good day, she'll hype you up and you'll feel even better. She's love. Like Kim is she's just, when I think of her, I just think of love, like what love would feel like.
So I joke often and I call Claudette my consigliere, right? And, like your consigliere is the person who gives you advice through all parts of your life, right? And for me, Claudette is that person. So her superpower is just her ability to kind of look through a situation and to really just kind of dissect it and really kind of realize and point out to what your talents are. things that you didn't realize were a talent. She tells you. She was like, you do this, and this well. And you're like, no, and she was like, no. And why don't you pursue that? I think her power is her strength and the strength that she gives others.
I love that. Would you say that, is there a childhood memory that has defined your friendship?
Oh,
goodness, so many.
There's been so many.
I think that Kim and I were bonded in trauma, just like family traumas that quiet kids often internalize. And so we were both really shy, and we were also very responsible, and we were the kids within like the family dynamic that people didn't necessarily have to worry about. And although we had, different upbringings, they were very similar and solely based in family and your connection with your family and the importance of family. But because we were also dealing with the different nuances of having blended families, having families that, maybe were disrupted along the way, for me, I can say that Kim was my special place where I could be my true self. And I knew that she saw me for the person that I was. I could also be my most vulnerable self with her, where I couldn't necessarily be that with the rest of my family. And I knew that whatever I said to her, it would stay with her and she wouldn't share it with other people. She would not violate our trust and our friendship. And she has always, always, always been like my cheerleader, even in the moments where I'm feeling like I'm not doing the things that I should be doing or where I need to be, or if I'm looking at something from a negative perspective, she will flip it on its head and tell me, otherwise, and actually not just tell me, but give me factual, knowledge about the reasons as to why it's not the case. And so I don't know if everyone has a friend like him that can not just say, girl, you good, but say it and actually mean it and give you validation through real life evidence. And so that is my special person.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I think even within our own families, I've heard it and it's been said to me, well, I know Claudette already knows this. So, and I'm like, she does. Or there have been instances where I'm like, I need a moment. I do not want to talk to anybody. I need a moment. And I've now learned how to advocate for myself to say that, right? Where I'm like, if I'm telling you I need a moment, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to talk to you. I've had that moment and then the phone will ring and it's Claudette. But they know that I will answer the phone for Claudette.
Yes. They will call me to call her.
They will call her. They will call her.
Yes.
They will call her. My brother will call Claudette and he will say, and now he was like, I know you, I call Claudette.
Yes.
And when I get the call, I was like, you already know that I said that I wasn't going to talk to her. And I was like, I did not need calling you. And she was like, I know, Kim. She's like, but they're worried. And I was like, I understand they're worried, but I needed a moment. And she was like, okay. And she knows that I'm stubborn. But I think what I really appreciate the fact that you do is in my stubbornness, you allow me to kind of run the gamut of my emotions. And she sits back and then she's like, have you come back to your senses? And I'm like, yes. And then she's like, okay, so now what's the plan? Versus trying to change my mind automatically. She knows that I need to think through things. That's how I process. And she lets me process, which I appreciate.
I love you.
I love you.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. I mean, you guys have such an incredible friendship. Like, I need to go get me a best friend. Best friend if you're out there. So on the next episode, we're going to get a little bit deeper. We're going to talk about what happens after college and motherhood. So we'll see you next time.
Ooh.